Jamming with history, assumptions and expectations. Roman stood there for a few moments, utterly confused. A prank, he repeated. Virgil nodded. No property will be damaged or anything remotely illegal or morally questionable. Think of it as a social experiment, if that helps, he offered. Roman narrowed his eyes. I only dress like that would interest me, Sanders, he reminded him. Virgil chuckled. Right, sorry. Well, think of it as a new form of theater. A two-man show with an interactive audience. We can bring in guest stars and everything. Now the skater was speaking Roman's language. That sounds interesting. I take it my parents would be the audience. Virgil nodded and started leading the way outside. If they want you to retire your bike so badly, I'll just let you tag along with me, he explained. You said they'd assume the worst of me based on how I dress alone, right? He recalled. Yes, Roman confirmed, starting to pick up on where Virgil was going with this. They got outside. Now, what would they think of me if they spotted me dropping off their little angel with paranoia? Roman was about to ask what Virgil was talking about when he saw it. Paranoia was a very cool-looking motorbike. Band names and logos strategically spray-painted in hues of purple on the black framework. There were also purple flames on the engine, and there was a chain of charms wrapped around the handles. Virgil was looking at the machine with pride. My uncle and his partner pimped her up. She's the most eco-friendly bike in the world, but still looks like and sounds like your folks' worst nightmare, I bet. Wow, Roman breathed. Did he really live so sheltered that he never realized Virgil rode a bike like this? He always wore a biker jacket to school, and for all the times he'd watched them skate, surely he should have spotted this thing at some point. The idea is to let their own assumptions drive them mad, Virgil explained. I pick you up and drop you off for the rest of the semester, or until either of us wants to quit. Roman nodded. We can imply anything we want and let them fill in the blanks, he realized with a careful smile. All kinds of ideas popping up in his mind. It would be fairly harmless. If his parents got too upset, he could reveal that they were wrong about Virgil and they'd learn that they don't always know better. Okay, so the rules. Virgil's voice pulled Roman back to reality. He put up a finger. 1. Communication. This will ask for a lot of improv. And for it to work long term, you won't be able to straight up lie to your folks anyway. But any big additions to the story we imply should be discussed, or at the very least we should give each other a heads up if something changes, so we both have time to adapt. Not to mention, it has to be fun for us both. Roman nodded. That was reasonable, and smart too. 2. Trust. There is a chance we might learn stuff about each other the other person is not comfortable sharing with the whole world. This only works if we can trust the other person to respect that. Roman nodded. That was reasonable too. And mutually beneficial. Roman suspected Virgil worried he'd learn a little too much about whatever the middle school event was he mentioned earlier. And well, Roman wanted his private affairs to remain private as well. Virgil opened up the seat of his bike and pulled out a helmet and a spare jacket. Rule 3. Safety first, he winked as he handed them to Roman before putting on his own, and placing his backpack in the compartment. Once he closed the seat again, he turned to Roman, who was just standing there, suddenly very nervous about his plan. He'd never ridden on a motorbike before. Come on, Virgil said patiently, as he took the jacket and held it open for him. Florida might be hot all the time, but you'll still get chilly without this, he assured him. Roman carefully placed the helmet on the seat and turned around, letting Virgil help him put the jacket on. There you go, your highness, Virgil teased as he zipped him up. Then he picked up the helmet. Now, please accept this crown, so it may protect that pretty face of yours, he said theatrically. Roman could feel a blush rushing up. He hid it by directing his attention to his backpack, retrieving his case for his glasses to put them away. So you think I'm pretty is what you are saying, he shot back as he righted himself, running a hand through his hair to keep himself from fidgeting. His sight was a bit blurry without glasses, but Virgil was close enough for Roman to see. He had his head tilted sideways and was pursing his lips thoughtfully. I suppose so, he admitted casually as he put the helmet over Roman's head carefully, visor already down. Roman was glad. It hid the fact that his skin was probably the color of a fire truck right now. In a practiced, elegant set of movements, Virgil got on his bike, took it off its standard and turned it on. The engine roared like a tiger. "Get on," he instructed as he revved the engine again and pulled down his own visor. Roman swiftly put his backpack straps over his shoulder and got on, only now realizing that he'd be really close to Virgil during the ride. Not only that, but if you aren't comfortable holding on, you best get off and walk home anyway, Virgil warned. Roman steadied himself and wrapped his arms around Virgil's waist. "Here we go," Virgil warned before taking off, immediately prompting Roman to hold on tighter. It was terrifying, but in a fun way. Not just in the way a roller coaster was terrifying, but it felt good. This act of rebellion his parents couldn't be mad about. Mother had suggested herself that Virgil could give him a ride. It wasn't Roman's fault that ride was something she'd hate. They arrived at the front gate in a matter of minutes. Virgil probably thought he'd dropped him off here, but Roman took out his keys and pressed the button that would buzz him in. It was thumbprint activated, so not just anyone could use his key. The gate opened. "Go big or go home, right?" Roman called out. The knowledge that his security cameras would catch everything was exciting. His parents would be able to watch the whole thing even if they weren't watching right now. He felt Virgil's laugh more than he heard it as the skater took off. He sped down the driveway and skidded to a stop, making Roman cling to him for dear life. Once he was sure they stopped moving, he slowly relaxed his limbs and got off. "You okay? I just wanted to make it a show for you folks," Virgil wondered, though the laughter was still evident in his voice. Roman wanted to be more annoyed, but he was still full of adrenaline and giddiness. He took off the helmet and ran his fingers through his hair, making it messier than it's ever been in public, but anything was better than helmet hair. "I'm fine," he sighed as he moved to hand the borrowed helmet back. Virgil waved him off. "Keep them. You'll need them tomorrow anyway," he said. It was weird talking to him while he was wearing a helmet. Roman couldn't see his face at all. "Okay, thanks. See you tomorrow?" "Pick you up at 8. Wouldn't want to be late. Do you want me to drop you off before we get there, or—" "Oh." Virgil thought he wouldn't want to be seen riding with him? He'd ask about that later. First, he apparently had to prove that he was nothing like his parents in this regard. "No, we have English first period, so we can talk before class, right?" Virgil hesitated. Wait, was he hoping Roman wouldn't want to spend time together at school? Then he nodded. "Okay. Oh, and charming, I almost forgot rule number 4. Roman cocked his head. "What's that?" he asked. Virgil flipped off his visor, reached for Roman and pulled him close by the suspenders. "Someone is watching us. I thought this would be funny. Don't forget our agreement, okay? Keep it fun for us both. And we can't forget about the project. That is more important. I don't think either of us really want our average to drop over a prank," he muttered, before letting Roman go and taking off again. Roman swallowed thickly. That was unexpected. Not that he was too affected. He was surprised to find that Virgil had freckles under his eyes, that's all. And there was a little circle of gold around his contrasting against the deep brown, almost black. Nothing more. He turned around and saw that it was in fact his mother standing at the window, looking quite shocked, her phone in hand. Clearly she'd been expecting him to call her. He gave her a wave before he headed to the front door. This would be interesting.